week in gaming, we scream into the studio closure void. Don't Nod is in trouble, and much more. This is the Nerd Cave News, and I am one of your hosts, Zach Dykes, joined by my good friend and colleague, Derek Daniel. Derek, how's it going, my man?
Man, I don't know why you forced me to come on this because we have nothing to talk about this week, man. Like, I don't know what you were thinking when I asked you, hey, can we just skip this week? And you're like, no, Derek, we have to keep up appearances. You had you had a week off 2 weeks ago. You cannot have another one off. And I was like begrudging, but no, I'm just being satirical, guys. Like, we have a lot to talk about. Like,
A lot to talk about.
Some...
It won't be as long as last week's episode.
No, but it'll feel like it with our discussions because we have opinions. Like, we have, like, stuff happened and we were just like, it builds off of the negativity that we had at the end of the show, like the article we read at the end of the show, and just keeps building and building and building, and we're like, cool. Like, we just had a great week, like, great summer, the best summer games fest that we've seen in a long time. Really great showcases from other companies, and all of a sudden, it's like walking in a park, it's like walking along the beach, eating ice cream, and then boom, seagull dung on your head.
True. It could be worse. Seagull dung in the ice cream, you can't tell.
Oh, God.
That's how layoffs normally are. It's like you don't know they're coming. And then you're like, Amy says, what's up? What's up? Nothing to talk about. Yeah. Nothing to talk about. No news. Nothing interesting.
Nothing to see here. Do not look at the man behind the curtain.
I know nothing. I see nothings. But yeah, we got a great show planned for you, everybody. So get ready.
Great for us, may not be great for the listeners.
Yeah.
In terms of what we're about to talk about.
Yeah. If you want positive, well, mostly positive, go watch last week's episode. This week we are calling out corporate corruption and all the stuff that we are known for at this point, because it just keeps happening. It just keeps happening.
The Nancy's are back in town.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So first off, I want to jump into what you're playing. Derek, I didn't ask you before this, but that look tells me everything that I need to know. Derek hasn't played a lick of anything.
Nope, definitely not. And I had some, business stuff to handle yesterday. So, I didn't get a chance to, like, I thought I would, but it was like, that didn't happen. So yeah, no. And then what was it this past Saturday? What did I do this past Saturday?
I play video games, apparently.
Oh, I went to go see my nephews. So, well, my godsons, essentially.
Yeah.
We went to go meet the new addition to the family and go see and spend some quality time with my godson. So that's what I was doing last Saturday. I was like, why didn't I play anything? But actually, technically, I did play with him. I played TMNT. What was it? That 2D arcade
Revenge?
one. Yeah, Shredder's Revenge. Helped him play. Helped him beat the last level. He was stuck on the last level.
There you go.
Beat that, and then we just played Minecraft creative mode. I'm just like, cool. Like, he was doing his own thing. I was just burrowing and, burrowing and exploring and destroying, just doing my chaotic self in Minecraft creative mode.
There you go. I'm glad you at least touched the digital world, the digital grass, if you will. For me, I started Final Fantasy VII Remake Friday of last week. So
after watching that trailer, got the itch for it, did you?
Yeah, I was like, okay, I'll start it. I played maybe an hour or so.
Yeah.
I got to like the shanty town area. I've essentially replayed the stuff that I played. I played a little bit further than that the first time.
Got you.
So I played a little bit of that, but the thing that I mostly played was V Rising. And man, put so much time into V Rising. I can't escape it, dude. It is so freaking good. I'm loving every minute that I get to play it. And we've watched several animes that were just like one season long. So Amy was finishing up. I think she did finish her game that she'd been playing, and I was playing V Rising, and we were watching a few different ones because we finished up Vinland Saga, and we didn't want to like start a new anime right away.
Yeah.
So we tried out like the witch that like killed slimes for like 300 years or whatever.
Oh yeah, I've maxed out my level. Yeah, that one's
Yeah.
like, I don't know why that got a second season, because the first season, it seems like they'll, like, by the title there'll be a premise, and then there's nothing. They just do nothing. It's like rinse and repeat. Like, oh, something bad happened. Boom, super strength. And I'm like, okay. And I almost, I thought I saw right when I was looking at the watch list. I was like, why is this popped up again?
Yeah. Yeah, we tried
if you
that.
wanted to watch that, go ahead.
Yeah, we tried it. Amy was like, "Are you enjoying this?" I was like, "Not really. I'm not really paying that much attention to it."
No.
So we bounced to another one where it was like, kid starts like a laundry mat or whatever with slimes.
By the grace of the gods.
Yeah, that one was pretty interesting.
Okay.
So I enjoyed. It was 2 seasons. We watched both of those.
But you won't watch the really good slime one, and that reincarnated as a slime.
No, I won't. I won't. It's against the law. It's against the law. But then I got Amy to watch Gachiakata, so we watched and finished.
I figured when that
Gachiakata.
popped up back on the watch list, I'm like, this is the Amy watch.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, you would enjoy this. And Amy was like, you did not prepare me for this show. Because I was like, yeah, it's got funny stuff in it. Because I'm just thinking of that and like the action. And then it's like, oh, Amo.
Yeah.
And all of
Yeah,
these,
exactly.
Like,
I was like, yeah. Well, hey, to be fair, I didn't prep you for the Amo one either. So I just said, hey, watch Gachiakata.
Yeah. So watch that, and then we have caught up with Ascendance of a Bookworm, season 4, the actual dubbed episodes and everything. So waiting on more dubbed episodes to come out and everything.
Well, and it's going to continue because they just confirmed it's going to continue on through the summer, so it's probably going to be like a 24 episode season.
Okay,
looks like.
Dope. Amy said one word: jabber.
Yes.
She does not like Jabber. She does not
really?
like Jabber. Yeah.
Well, guess
She's
what?
like,
It looks like
he
he's
creeps
gonna be
me
here
out.
to stay.
Yeah.
Can you believe? Can you believe that's the same guy who voices Hawks from My Hero Academia?
That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy.
It's like night and day. Like Hawks is so chill. It's like if he wasn't upbeat at certain moments, he would just think like every day is 420 for Hawks, like just relax and just cooling, man. And then you see Jabber, and it's like, nah, night and day.
Yeah. So we've been watching a lot of anime, and then we just started another one right before the show, the Warrior Princess and the Barbarian King.
Okay.
Yeah, started that because of Dan's recommendation, and it's got an interesting ending to the first episode.
Oh,
God,
okay.
I'll just say that.
Just leave it at that.
Yep, I'll just say that. So
Maybe
yeah,
he is Hawks. Yep, that is correct. Zeno Robinson.
Yeah, that's crazy. I forgot that it was Hawks. Joe says you got to watch Spider Noir. It's somewhere on the list. It's somewhere. I don't know where.
It's on there. I watched. It's sort of like that. Just kind of triggered my Rolodex brain. I was watching like podcast clips of like this duo, and it's like I forget how they got on the subject, but it's like the last thing I want to do is hurt you. It's on the list. It's just the last thing.
That's like my first thing that I want to do.
Yeah. Inflict harm and
And
disdain.
yeah, that's kind of my thing with you, Derek. Y'all
Well,
being mean. We're not being mean. We're being truthful. We're being
you know,
truthful.
truth
So yeah,
tellers.
yeah, we're being truth tellers over here. But yeah, so that's been where we're at. Y'all let us know what you've been playing. I know Amy said something. I'm trying to finish the last task on the librarian game. It is literally trying to jump and grab something, but I can't get it.
Well, Amy, you know what not to do. You don't ask Zach if it involves jumping because he is terrible at measuring distance, as we know. Evidenced by the Last Jedi, or no, excuse me. What was the name of the first one? Star Wars Jedi Fallen
Survivor.
Order.
Yeah,
Oh
that one.
no, that was the set. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You know, I haven't died at all in Lego Batman from fall damage. So you know. Oh yeah, I've also been playing that, Derek, and I've been enjoying it a lot. I finally got the Bat Cave, like the real legitimate Bat Cave. I unlocked that
okay.
at the end of the last stream, and man, this game is a lot of fun. And like if Mr. Gravity, thanks, love. If I if I wanted a little bit more challenge right now, I'm just enjoying the game. I'd crank up the difficulty, which would be like the normal mode on Arkham,
Yeah,
and
Arkham.
everything. But I'm just enjoying the game. I don't think actually died in any of the combat or anything like that, which, you know.
Huh.
So I'm liking it, and I got the 1989 Batmobile now, and apparently the animated series Batmobile is in there. So I can't wait to unlock it because I'm gonna be just driving it.
Now, let me ask you this: since it's like pretty much like the greatest hits of Batman, essentially, is what this game is. Do they have different voice packs? Like, can you go from like Kevin Conroy, the GOAT, to other voices, or is it just like one singular voice that they have?
Yeah, it's one voice for Batman. Like it's someone specifically for the game. I'm not sure who it is, to be honest. But what is cool is with the Joker, because the Joker does change. I got to Jack Nicholson's version of the Joker, but you'll get like Heath Ledger's, and there's a different voice actor for each different Joker that you encounter.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Matthew Berry plays Bane. Do you know who Matthew Berry is?
Isn't he from Friends?
No, that's Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry. Okay.
Yeah, he's no longer with us.
Who Matthew. I feel like Matthew Berry. I know, but I don't recognize it off the top of my head.
What We Do in the Shadows. It was like the vampire show. He's like, New York City. That dude.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Vaguely. I mean, I never watched the show.
IT Crowd. Anyway, he plays Bane. So I'm super excited to get to Bane in the game and enjoy it. What's up, Michael? Hope you're doing well.
What up?
What do you mean on the mountain? I know I fell, but I didn't die. Just saying. Hadn't died. I fell, which isn't death in this game. Why did we fall, Master Wayne? Master Bruce?
Back up.
The size of a tangerine. There's so many callbacks, dude. I'm absolutely loving it. There's so many callbacks to so many things, and being a huge Batman nerd, where literally like my 20s was just consuming everything Batman.
Yeah.
Matthew Berry helps me pick out
my fantasy lineup.
What? Is that like a fantasy person? Like a fantasy?
I'm sure he's talking about like fantasy football and stuff like that, or fantasy sports.
Okay. Oh yeah. That's right. This is a different Matthew Berry. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's no, I know. Okay, now I know who he's referencing because yeah, he works for ESPN.
Yeah. Let's see, because everybody wants to know who this is, Derek. Okay, everybody's like, oh my god, I need to know who Matthew Berry is. All
Hey,
right.
we need to keep. Hey, one keep the positivity going because once we're done with that, once we start the show, once we get into the articles, it ain't gonna be positive no more.
Very true. Very true. It's all downhill from there. It's all over but the crying, as my grandfather would say. So
Yeah.
this is Matthew Berry. Um,
Okay.
so um, so if you've watched What We Do in the Shadows and all of that, he's like the main vampire and everything. But the IT crowd is where I got him from. So
Got you.
yeah, 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 yep. So without further ado, Derek, are you ready to get into this slobber knocker of an episode?
Oh, I'm ready to go 20 rounds, my friend.
All right. Well, first up, Don't Nod warned it will run out of cash by November. This is by Tom Phillips over at IGN.
French developer Don't Nod will run out of cash this November unless a new funding source is found. The company has been searching for a hit in recent years amid a string of releases that have failed to set tills ringing, including Harmony, The Fall of Reverie, Jusant, Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden, and this year's sci-fi action adventure Aphelion. Now, Don't Nod has been warned it has 5 months of capital remaining unless further investment is located imminently. The company is part owned by Tencent, though auditors have revealed that the Chinese conglomerate is no longer interested in providing further short term funds. Quote, your chairman has informed us that he has been seeking additional financing for several months and that all avenues are being explored to improve the company's cash position. Whether through a capital increase or external financing for your game currently in development, auditors wrote. The company management informed us that according to its cash flow forecasts, without additional financing and taking into account, among other things, revenue assumptions related to the marketing of a new game at the end of April 2026, which was Aphelion, and cost savings that have not yet materialized, the company is expected to run out of cash during November of this year. Your chairman also informed us that following his requests, your main shareholder, Tencent, does not wish to subscribe to a capital increase in the short term nor contribute to the financing of games currently in development through co production agreements. Finally, your chairman indicated that discussions have been underway with some major players in the video game industry for several months, but that these discussions have not resulted in any structured financing offers. Given the situation, we have determined that the aforementioned facts are likely to jeopardize the continued operation of your company. Solutions currently being explored include funding from another major partner, launching the studio's unannounced next game sooner, which would be earlier in 2027 than planned, or assigning staff to work for hire subcontracting work on external projects. As of yet, however, no solution has been found. This is woof. You want to talk about like, and we'll get the second part of the story is all Xbox guys. Like we about to have an Xbox beat up Palooza over here because they are doing some rough things over there. And when you think okay, it could no one else is affected, right? No one else, everyone else is just hunky dory. Nope. Here comes Don't Nod, who is now granted. Yes, I know Jusant did pretty well. I know Banishers did okay. I know it went a little long in the tooth, like gameplay wise. Like the first like 12, 13 hours are really great, but after that it just keeps going, and everyone's like, okay, that I don't need 40 hours of rinse and repeat. But its heyday was Life is Strange, and it
Mm-hmm.
really hasn't been able to recapture that magic. It's tried, It's tried, but nothing that spoke to people on the same level that Life is Strange did. And I know they tried to bring back with, what was it, True Colors, I think it was,
Yeah.
and that did somewhat okay, but it didn't light the world on fire like the original one did. And but just for Tencent just to go, and I'm not saying they're sitting on they're sitting on a throne with like, like 50 developers underneath their umbrella. It feels like, and they're like, oh, who needs money? They haven't produced a worthwhile game in several years. Nah, they don't get none, Chief. They don't get a piece of this pie anymore. And it's like, wow, I didn't realize we were working, we were singing for our supper over here. I didn't know that's how that works. It is sad because I do think that they do have talented people that still want to make great games. I just think because of, you know, it was sort of like how Bungie was before, like before they just said, like with Destiny, like the Destiny IP, right? They did what they could for Destiny 2. They built up Marathon, they had all these ideas, and then they were like, all right, you're not doing Destiny 3. Destiny 2 is fixing to end support, or like end updates, essentially. Like, you're just going to play. If you want to, look, we'll still keep servers on, but Destiny 2 is no longer going to be getting new content. And so now, if you want us to survive, essentially, it's in one of the quick hits. Basically, if you want Bungie to thrive and survive, you have to support Marathon, and that event, and that is not going well. Just spoiler alert on that as well. But Zach, what do you take from all of this? Like, obviously, it's not going to be as a big impact as some of these other articles that we're going to talk about. But Don't Nod was a name that you held in regard for a very long time. So, what would this mean if Don't Nod had to shutter its doors?
One, I hope Don't Nod figures something out. I didn't even know that Aphelion was out. I remember it getting
Yeah.
announced and it was like, oh, this is going to be Don't Nod. And
Mm-hmm.
it was like, okay, that's weird. I wouldn't have thought them doing something like this is a little bit more gameplay focused, that sort of deal. Story, which there's clearly,
Yeah.
story to the game and all of that. But looking at the reviews, they're mixed on Steam. Out of
Yeah.
263, and literally the first one says, I can't in good conscience recommend this game.
Wow. That's
And
rough.
yeah,
That's rough.
yeah. So, and like Banishers, I thought looked interesting and all of that. But
Yeah.
when I think about this, because Don't Nod isn't the original makers of Life is Strange. They worked on Before the Storm, True Colors, and everything. So it's like, okay, True Colors I think was a good one. It was
Mm-hmm.
received critically well, but that doesn't mean really that and that's what a lot of this is what we're going to be talking about tonight, is that you might be critically received well and praised, but that doesn't mean that it adds up on the spreadsheets. So,
That
you
sounds a
know,
lot like Square Enix back in the day, like before they sold off some of their IP. Because I mean, Hitman would do well. Tomb Raider, like the new Tomb Raider trilogy they did, would do well. Prime example that I keep going back to, haven't talked about in a while. Sleeping Dogs, a new IP, critically received, a brand new IP, sold over 1 million copies. Most studios would be over the moon for.
yep.
Square Enix said didn't hit our sales milestone. And like, what was your sales projection? Like, it's baffling, and it's just like, well, it did well critically, but we don't see the return, the ROI, so we can't, in good conscience, fund another one or fund your next project. And it's like, excuse me, like,
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
build off of the momentum I just had with a good run on.
Yeah. EA, same thing,
Yep.
anytime EA put out oh my God, Dead Space, it was always
Yep.
crazy numbers. Capcom with Lost Planet did the same kind of
Yep.
stuff. It's like you're wanting these to be mainstay things, and like Don't Nod not getting any kind of funding from Tencent tells me a lot that
Yep.
there is some sort of mismanagement going on here. I want to give
Either
Don't
by
Nod the
Don't
benefit.
Nod or Tencent, we don't know
Yeah,
yet.
it's like somewhere the money is is it going to things that aren't necessary? Like, can you, like, this would be a simple one. If you can get out of your lease, everybody works from
Yeah,
home. Like, I
yeah,
know where it could literally be $8,000, which could be more in depending, like I'm talking about USD, but some people literally pay like $8,000 a month for rent on a building that could
hmm,
go into, like where could you put that money into other places? And that's,
right,
I don't even know how big Don't Nod is, probably 60 people at max, probably.
maybe, yeah,
It's not a huge one, but you're also making games that aren't barn burners, like people aren't
yeah,
knocking down the door. And I feel like Life is Strange has kind of had its life cycle at this point. I don't feel like
yeah.
people are like,
It's
even
run its
I
course as the IP.
yeah, like I loved the original Life is Strange and I've enjoyed the other ones when it was like, oh, you're getting to play as Max and Chloe is coming back and blah blah blah. I haven't even bought that game. I hadn't even touched it. I hadn't even thought about it.
Yeah, it just hit my head because I remember us watching those trailers, and I know you were excited because the original duo was, but the girls were back in town.
Yeah.
The OG, and and I forget that game just kind of came and went to hardly any fanfare.
Yeah. So it's like even people that really love that, there are so many other games that are out
Yep.
that I could be playing, and it just makes it where that this isn't as important and everything. And Jusant, like that was never going to sell. Like, let's be
Yeah.
honest.
No.
Like, and it was on Game Pass and everything. Banishers, I feel like was a little bit better of a game, but if you stay around too long, people aren't going to want to buy another one if the first one is
No.
just kind of there. But the way this needs to be done, they need to figure out how to save money, and that's not necessarily easy or something that is going to be comfortable. It could be, like I said, getting out of your lease. It could be, you know higher ups taking pay cuts until they get solvent. It could
Hmm.
be seeking out investors that normally wouldn't, maybe not take this kind of risk or whatever. Like, find somebody that is not necessarily in the gaming sphere to get VC or something like that. You
True.
already have a
Yeah.
venture capitalist with Tencent there getting a percentage of it. It's like, find somebody. It's like, hey, we've had successes. We want, you're going to get 25% of the company or whatever for, enough runway for you to be able to operate. I could see this, Derek, and I don't know if they've gone this way, and this might be people that they're talking to, but Savvy Games coming into this and buying them
Mm,
out.
interesting. It's
Pay
a
10 cent,
possibility.
yeah, pay 10 cent what they owe or whatever to buy them completely
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. We'll see. I don't even know if Savvy's interested at this point. They might be
Yeah,
looking at that and be like, a lot of the times when you're struggling, it's like that's not the best time. I know the saying is always buy low, sell high type of deal, but it's like when you're struggling and you're falling toward the rock bottom, sometimes people don't want to bail you out.
yeah, and I also find it weird that this is like out. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we're getting to know this, that it's like, oh, they're in that like financial
I,
straits.
I think they don't want to go the way of like how these other because it will, and I think it says a little bit about Tencent, the fact that it's like, oh, you're going to run out of money in 5 months. Well, let's just like pull the cord. You know what I mean? Let's just close you now before you go under. Because what are you going to do in 5 months? Nothing. It's like you're going to be mostly wasting your time, and by the time you figure out if you do get an investor or money, like you're going to have to figure out how to allocate sources and whatnot. So and it'll be like another year and a half before you can start work on your next video game. So, but I do think it says something to Tencent that they didn't just pull the plug immediately. That they're probably trying to, outside of another company we'll get into in it here in a little bit. While touting its next game and seeing if that will entice people to buy the studio before they decide to just axe it. They're giving them a chance. Like, hey, this is out here in the ecosphere. Like most companies are just like, oh, you're losing money, close them. You're about to be out of money, close them. So
True.
I don't know. It does say something at the same time. You could also be like, hey, how about the company that we own that's under our umbrella? How about we float them some cash to figure things out, before they close by the end of the year?
Yeah. Well, and
But
then you
that'd be
get,
the easy route, and we don't do easy.
yeah, true. I don't want to play devil's advocate for, corporation shareholders or anything like that.
No.
There is a point in time where business is business,
Yeah.
but for the people that don't nod, I hope that you find the funding that you need, that you get the runway that you need to operate and get things off the ground to continue to make awesome games. I think y'all are a talented group of people, and I think some hard decisions, and I think people need to go back to Awada, where he literally stopped taking a salary because he was like, I'm the leader and
Yep.
I want to keep as many people here as possible, so I'm not going to take a salary until we're in a good place and everything.
Yep, profitable again. So
it's like, if you really want this companies to succeed, then you need to make something
put your
happen.
money where your mouth is.
Yeah, and it's hard as well as, like, as a developer at Don't Nod, when there's all these layoffs and the only other like big company that is there in France is Ubisoft. It's like, and they're laying off people all the time. It's like, okay, do you stay and hope that it works out? Or do you, if I was there, I'd start looking. It'd be like, yeah, I want it to be successful and succeed, but I also have to think about my family and everything, and my personal self.
It's like, yeah, because you can't, if this was beginning of the year and be like, if this was like February, let's say, right? And it's like, oh, guys, in which I'm sure they probably, maybe by like March or April, they started hearing rumblings about this, like being a possibility. But let's just say in February, you found this out and it's like, oh, I have 9 months. It's like to figure it out. It's like, okay, we might have time. I'll have jobs open, but it's like 5 months out. It's like you can't hold out for hope at this point. Like, especially, I know they're the French I know they're in France, so I don't know how well the economy is over there. I'll be honest with you, but let's just say they're here based in the U.S. Like, and if they were based in the U.S. in this economy, you can't deal with what ifs. You gotta deal with the knowns. You gotta go out and find another job that's stable, that can keep food on the plate, rather than have to scramble at the 11th hour and figure out how you're gonna pay the light bill.
Yeah, and thankfully, like over in France, like if you are working, you pay in and all of this. Like you have to have like an active job for so many years, like a few years.
Oh, okay.
But once you do and you lose, like close down or get fired or whatever, like the government will actually pay you until you get another job.
Huh. What a concept.
Yeah, it's a totally different system over there, but they don't make as much. You know what I mean? Because of those subsidies and everything. But I just hope for the people that don't nod, maybe they can go to Sandfall. I'm sure Sandfall is wanting to ramp up, the size of their team and everything, and having more developers that have, worked on several different projects and everything would be a good place to go.
Correct. So, and they're right across. They're probably in the same area ish, maybe. I don't know. Like, I don't know where Sandfall's located, where Don't Nod's located, essentially. But I'm sure they're next door neighbors, essentially.
Yeah, because France is small, Derek.
I know. just literally, you could spit across the pond, literally.
I'm looking it up as we.
Okay.
Okay, so they're in Paris, and then Montpellier, France.
I don't know. Montpellier, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where that is. Billiere, France to Paris. You know, because here at okay, it's like 7 hours away by car, 3 hours by train.
Oh,
$64 to get there one way.
huh? That's crazy.
Yeah. So there you go.
Anyway,
There you go. Oh, let's jump into the main beef of tonight's episode, and we're going to be talking about Xbox.
TV, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, dogs.
DRM. So we've got a few different things to talk about, and this is Xbox becomes the villain. That's kind of the heading here. But first up, Asha Sharma warns of a company reset, and we talked a little bit about this last week, and then Bo kind of referenced this, but we're going to jump into this, and this is by Tom Phillips over at IGN.
So Sharma's memo to Xbox employees, subsequently published publicly online, painted an unflinching portrait of the problems facing Microsoft's gaming division and made it clear that difficult decisions were now necessary in the coming days. Quote, the company stopped sharing detailed Xbox sales data in 2015, so Asha mentioning the 3% profit margin now is actually big news to justify what is coming soon, said Dr. Sirkin Toto, the CEO of consultancy firm Canton Games, noting Sharma's public reveal of Xbox's accountability margin spoke volumes. The business is clearly not working. Microsoft could make more money just leaving its cash to the bank, as the interest rate for corporations in the US is over 3.6% currently. Considering Xbox was one of the biggest spenders over the past decade, buying up ZeniMax Media and Activision Blizzard King, it is now looking for ways to capture a return on that investment, agreed Joost van Drunen, video game industry researcher and professor at the NYU Stern School of Business. It is common practice for firms to reduce headcount in the wake of an acquisition, but in this case, we can identify several other unavoidable catalysts. First, the RAM-pocalypse is real, or memory loss, as Andy puts it. Xbox has already started to de-risk its hardware business by partnering with third parties and creating a partner network. The tripling of hardware component costs has further catalyzed that effort, yet hardware remains a low-margin part of the business. Game Pass was too expensive, and monetizing players via a monthly subscription clearly has a ceiling. Sharma has also signaled the return to exclusives as a central part of its platform strategy, but the honeymoon phase of new management is going to come to an end soon, and we'll start seeing the real work that's going into turning a $25 billion with a B dollar gaming titan around. Before Xbox rolls out additional revenue streams around user-generated content markets and in-game advertising in a long-term sustainable way, it will be forced to lower its overhead to maintain the 30% margin that Satya Nadella will expect. A 3% accountability margin down year on year against $20 billion with a B of investment over 5 years, while revenue actually fell, is a line written for investors, says Reese Elliott, head of market analysis at Alinea Analytics. It's bad. My read is that the strategy becomes Xbox doesn't need to make all the games. The company will concentrate first-party spend on the handful of industry-defining entertainment-scale IP. The franchise is now extending into TV and film, and push the smaller indie-adjacent bets out to third-party partners instead of funding them in-house. And, again, like you alluded to, Zach, Bo talked about a little bit last week. We kind of touched on it. But, again, we're going to bring this back up because we haven't talked about it, and this is going to be more in a negative connotation. The plan is a plan until it's not the plan anymore. Obviously, and I forget who, I think it was Paris or something like it, or it was somebody on Kind of Funny. It's going to get bad and before it gets better. Actually, it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. And boy, is there some worse on the horizon. But obviously, yes, it's all about profit. And I mean, we're starting to see, maybe not starting, but we're starting to realize maybe it's actually, they've got 50,000-ton gorilla on their back that is Satya Nadella. And maybe he, like, it's sort of like in the fourth, crossing streams here, like during the fourth Great Ninja War, you think, oh, it's actually Toby. Nope, it's Madara. Nope, wait, there's someone else pulling the strings. It's like you want to keep finding someone to blame, and then you find out the true mastermind. And you're like, aha, it was you all along. And it's like we were thinking because Phil, like, and it's weird that all of a sudden Microsoft proper is taking a sudden interest in how their gaming division is, and I guess they see how much money they were losing, especially since the Xbox One era. So for 10 years they were taking losses and not making great profit return margins, and they were like, enough's enough, we're going to step in. And we thought, okay, Phil had his hands tied. Well, now it's like Asha's coming in and she's starting to make great interest, but we're seeing Satya pulling the strings behind the scene. It's like, all right, good, you're going to do as I say, dance puppet. It seems like now she seems like she's still making or wants to make great decisions for the future of the company. And again, some of that is going to have to include some layoffs, some cuts, some decisions we're not going to agree with. But at the same time, it all comes at the behest of Satya Nadella wanting this ungodly 30% profit margin from all its game studios, which again is not the industry standard.
Yeah, it's 15 to 17% is the normal thing. But devil's advocate here, not every company invests the same kind of money that Xbox has been doing, and
True.
we'll get a little bit more into that here in just a minute. But I wanted to speak on this part where we are literally looking at not anything that Asha has done. Okay.
Yeah.
This is this is like, anytime a new president or governor or whatever comes in, and then you start, oh, well, this, that, and the other. And it's like, oh, well, that was the last administration or even the administration before that, that's finally like coming to fruition here. So
Correct.
a lot of the issues that we're seeing is because of, I love them to death, Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, but it's like, clearly we weren't making enough bold decisions, to keep everything afloat. We were just kind of like, we're just going to slowly do this, that, and the other. We're going to erode the trust of people here. We're going to take away the reason why people need to buy an Xbox, all of these different things. And then wonder, why are we losing profit margin? Why haven't we actually talked about sales data of the Xbox since 2015? Yada, yada, yada. And it's like, I feel like also during that time, it was like, people are like, oh, console wars are dead. It's like, yeah, because the PlayStation 4 just wiped the ground with the Xbox One, and then the Switch 2 came out, and the Switch, and crushed as well. So I think Asha has a very non-enviable position. Okay. She has done really good stuff in the first 100 days, but she's about to have to make some decisions that are going to potentially alienate some people, but has the long-term effect of maybe bringing the Xbox brand into actual profitability that it hasn't ever had. And I think that's difficult for somebody that, and she's an outsider. I think that's something that, we were like, does she have what? In everything she's done so far has been like, okay, this is good. And then we get to this where it's like, oh, like what's going on here,
And that's why I kind of put the title as Xbox becomes the villain in order to become the hero down the road. Because again, like, yes, they will do some things that we will question, that there will be some things that we curse them for. But at the same time, if it ends up coming out, if they turn into the phoenix that rises from the ashes, it will, I won't say all be worth it, but it'll at least be an understanding. Like, we'll see, there will be a light at the end of the tunnel through all this chaos.
Yeah. One of the quotes that I cut from this, and y'all can go, I highly suggest going and checking out all of these articles on IGN or VGC and all of that. They were going to be reading every episode. But it was like, it feels like they're about to bulldoze through all the studios and only keep certain things. And it does definitely feel like we're about to cut the fat, if you will.
Yeah. For lack of a better term.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, we're going to be cutting stuff and focusing on things that have the potential to make us most money. It's super, super business like and not art. And that's what we're, what we're really getting down to is like, this is not for the art. This is for the business.
No. Yep.
Which brings us to Microsoft CEO offers comments following reset memo. And this is by Michael Kripe at IGN.
So Satya Nadella commented on the state of the Xbox in 2026 during a recent conversation with Hard Fork. No one can accuse Microsoft of not having invested for the last 25 years, Nadella added. Now we have to turn this into a sustainable business that delivers what is fundamentally one of the best sources of entertainment still. Still, the challenge we have is we've not been monetizing that entertainment, he said. In fact, if anything, we've been subsidizing that entertainment. There's more monetization of Xbox games happening on YouTube than at Microsoft, Nadella added with a chuckle. So that doesn't mean we go do things that are unnatural. We want us to do what is really our job, which is to build great games, build great hardware, but we've got to do it in an economically sustainable way. And again, while I think Satya is the real villain here, he does bring up a good point. It's like when you're getting more monetization on YouTube than your whole platform, it does say something about the state of your economic. And again, to play devil's advocate, yes, like over the last 25 years, no one has invested more than Xbox, especially during the end of Xbox One going into the Series X and S era with all the acquisitions. Like again, I remember right before pre-orders for the Series X and S opened up, literally the day before, the morning of, they were like, hey, we bought Bethesda. And they're like, excuse me? And like everyone's like, friends like, oh man, we about to get Elder Scrolls, Fallout, all these great games from those libraries. And they're about to be, they weren't all going to be exclusive, but it's like, oh, they're going to be Game Pass, day one, all that kind of stuff. So the future was looking bright. And then they bought Activision Blizzard. And it's like, okay, say what you will about Call of Duty. It's still one of the biggest IPs in the gaming sphere to this day. And, you have, Activision doing their thing with like Diablo coming back strong, stronger than ever. Overwatch making a comeback, dropping Overwatch 2 and going to just Overwatch. And then again, just Activision doing other things. And yes, did those studios get affected by downsizing, studio closures, all that kind of stuff? Yes, they did. But that's the price you pay. Like again, if you spend all that money, not saying it should be justified, but you got to look when you're looking at spreadsheets and be like, can this sustain us? Unlike, and I don't mean to make this comparison because it's Microsoft's a massive corporation versus Dontnod, a very small studio, but it's like, we don't want to be Dontnod. We don't have to be scrambling for cash 5 months away and 5 months out from closing our doors and shutting off the lights forever. So they have to think about it in the long term. But at the same time, it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah. And I feel like Microsoft is pretty much saying what Tencent is saying. It's like, hey, I'm going ahead and warning you now. Money's going to dry up. You need to start making your own money. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like when a parent is like, hey, you need to go get a job. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's like, all right, you're 18, you just graduated high school. It's time you started making your own income because we ain't ain't gonna pay all this college tuition for nothing.
Yeah. It's like,
or pay your college tuition at all.
Yeah, pay your college tuition. You got to start paying rent, whatever it may be. Your own insurance, blah blah blah. I think that's what Microsoft is doing here, and they've invested like in the last 5 years, 25 billion with a B into Xbox. That is not including the acquisition costs that we've seen as well. So that is a huge, like when you look at that, that's almost $100 billion that has went into just trying to make Xbox work. And that's insane when you really get down to
Yeah,
it. It's insane how much money.
1,000%.
But when you look at this as well, it's like, okay, I feel like we've created a situation that is almost untenable.
Yeah.
You know, like Microsoft has babied and coddled Xbox so much where they haven't had to make these hard decisions. You know,
Yeah.
we've seen studio closures, but most of those have been because of poor game releases. Tango Gameworks is like the one exception that we've
Yeah.
seen in the recent years. But when you think about this, it's like, okay, we've seen over the last few years Nadella like complaining about Xbox and everything, like y'all need to start making more money. And Amy Hood as well, like she was with him on that, which she's like the chief financial officer over at Microsoft.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, y'all need to start making money. And then it just, I don't know, it's a really weird position. And we're about to get into some other things, but I wanted to throw this to you, Derek. If you were in Xbox right now and you had all the power to make any change that you wanted to, introduce anything that you wanted to try to make money, what would you do to try to make Xbox an actual viable place?
Well, I mean, for one thing, I mean, so there's good and bad with this, right? So one of the main things I would do would find a way to make components easier to get, because I mean, right now when the system is so flippin' expensive and the Helix is going to look like it's going to be $1,500 at launch starting off with, it's like, okay, cool, we want to bring exclusivity back and do all this and that, and it's like, okay, how are people going to get the consoles? How are people going to afford to get these consoles? Like, because it's not one thing that it's like, oh, I can't find a console, but when I do, it's out of my price range. So find components that will make it cheaper, but won't affect the quality too bad. You know, make it more affordable. Because I mean, I think it was, what was it, Best Buy or Target that stopped when Xbox raised these prices like the second time in like 6 months. They were like, we're not carrying Xboxes anymore because y'all. Not only are they just sitting there collecting dust in our inventory, they're they're going to be way priced out of our consumers' price range anyway. So we're just cutting it all together. So not only if you find one can you afford it, but also in order to, and you know, it's weird what they chose to, the two games they chose to put their hat on for to start this exclusivity run, right, with Gears and Clockwork Revolution. And I know Bo was like, they need something. Last week he talked about they need something to give you a reason to come to the platform. Yeah, I get that. But again, you do that with Gears is a big IP, but the last couple Gears haven't really done that well. So it's like, why? And then you put the first Gears, you redo Gears 1 again, and then put it on PlayStation 5, and that's the only one in that ecosphere. But yet you're going to bring Halo Campaign Evolved, a massive IP that's, despite how you feel about the last couple ones that came out, it still holds merit. Fable, that looks, we saw a fantastic trailer at their showcase. We raved about it. That's coming multi-platform. Forza Horizon 6, a really compelling, it's out right now, one of the really hot racing game, multi-platform. So I would still continue with some of these major IPs going forward, multi-platform, until you get to a point where you get to consoles in store and brick and mortar stores again, or available to just the public to buy at a cheaper cost. And then you start playing the exclusivity game of, all right, now that more people have the ability to get an Xbox, now we can say, here's the reason to come back. We're going to start gatekeeping some of these games on our platform again.
Like, I like the idea. Yeah. I think games are the only way to make money at this point.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Like selling,
and that's a long-winded way of saying of like, make the games more accessible and like all that kind of stuff. But you have to be able to get hardware first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, I think they either need to double down on Game Pass somehow.
yes.
You know, I know
Make
that they're
that
not
viable again. Make it the best value in gaming.
yeah. It also cheapens like every game that goes on there as well.
Oh yeah.
You know, so it's like even if you have a ton of people buying the game or trying out the game, doesn't mean it's being bought. Like Forza Horizon 6 6.4 million copies have been sold so far, and I don't think the PlayStation 5 version is out yet.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. So that does say a lot. 325 million in revenue in a week of release. That's pretty freaking good. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And all you have to do is go to take it to Japan.
Go to Japan, yeah. You got to put out games people want to play. And I think that's the thing that Xbox has struggled with in the last 10 years is they haven't really had that many great games. Nothing that is like just like, oh my God.
Up until last year, like they started getting momentum last year, you know, with all these releases, you know. But yeah, you're 100% right. It's like they haven't had great. I mean, it was sort of like even the PlayStation 4, as great as we remember it, right? It took it a minute. Like it wasn't until about 2016 to where a lot of these big games started dropping, like with Uncharted 4, then Horizon, then God of War, then, you know, Spider-Man, and we can go on and on. But yeah, it took PlayStation a few years to get off the ground before it started, you know, hitting home runs left and right. So Xbox is doing that same approach, even though it's more toward the back half of the console life cycle at this point, but better late than never. So if they can continue building off that momentum, and I mean, it's funny, I know Fable's going to be early next year, right? But within a calendar year, we're going to have the four pillars, the four horsemen from the 360 days, which is Gears, Halo, Fable, and Forza. You know, so
yeah. And I think that's important to show that we are going to be getting games. And I think when it really comes down to it, Derek, no one's going to buy Helix. No one's going to buy Helix if it comes out in 2028. With it being that much, and it's only supposed to get...
Especially when Steam Machine will be a thing.
Yeah. So, why not make this console generation last as long as you possibly can?
True. Because I know there was a rumor, it hasn't gained any traction, but there was a rumor I saw, what was it, last week, earlier this week, that it's like, Helix might be targeting a 2027 release. I'm like, no. That is the worst thing you could do right now.
Like, you will literally kill any kind of momentum you have as Xbox.
Yep.
You will literally kill because you're about to splinter once again your whole entire fan base. When I think it's Pear said some number. No, that was PlayStation 5 has like 90 million in the wild.
Yeah.
But it's like, we don't even know how many Xboxes are out there. So it's like, you need to take advantage of all the people that have the Xbox Series X and S and the people that are playing on their PCs. Like, you need to do something that really gets them buy into the ecosystem of Game Pass. And it's not necessarily more games. It's not necessarily... you get Discord Nitro. I don't give a crap about that. No, is there a game that I have to play on there? That is the only thing that gets me wanting to play anything on Game Pass. And the only thing that I want to play on Game Pass is Gears of War E-Day and the new Doom DLC that's coming out.
Yep. In a few weeks, actually.
Yeah. So like that right there is like, oh, I got to get Game Pass again so I can play these games and enjoy them. That's what you need to be doing. And also getting people to just buy the games. So there's a lot that can be happening here, but I don't know if they know what they're doing. in some ways. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
when you talk to gamers, you're just like, oh yeah, this is what you need to do. You know, and apparently they're going to try to shove more ads onto games or whatever, or
Okay. Good luck with that.
onto it'll be kind of like how EA Sports did with Fight Night and all of that, but I think maybe
Oh yeah.
onto the console, like when you're in the menus and all of that. And it's like, I'm sure that brings in some, you know, couple $1 million a year or whatever. I don't
Will
know.
it really help you? Will it really help you break even though? Let's be fair. It
No,
won't.
but a few $1 million here and there definitely helps the bottom line. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think it's, I think there's a systemic issue here with they just need to make more freaking good games.
Well, as our next article talks about, they want to speed up certain IPs. As Microsoft CEO wants to speed up Halo, Elder Scrolls, and Fallout development. And this is by Michael Kripe at IGN. A new report has claimed Xbox CEO Asha Sharma is speeding up development on new Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and Halo games as Microsoft considers restructuring or spinning off its gaming branch. There's no word on how exactly Microsoft intends to allocate resources to speed up the process of delivering new games in each series or when new installments would be intended to launch. It's also unclear if the move would result in the fast tracking of long awaited mainline entries like The Elder Scrolls 6 or Fallout 5, specifically, or maybe spin offs or remasters such as the rumored Fallout 3 remaster. These are all titles Xbox publisher Bethesda Softworks has talked about in the past without assigning any sort of release date, meaning they could still be many, many years away even if they are prioritized. The information reports that Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella and CFO Amy Hood have given Sharma the green light for extra spending when it comes to bringing big games to Xbox this fiscal year. However, the site sources say the budget could be changed. And Zach, this is the first kind of warning bells that kind of went off in my head because where have we seen because we'll get into the thinking process here in just a minute with some of these studios, but where have we seen this strategy kind of sort of take place beforehand? Oh, wait, they own that studio now in Activision Blizzard. Activision, it's like, well, Raven, just to name a few, the short list, Raven Software and Vicarious Visions, really great game makers, but it's like they weren't making the money that Call of Duty was, so Activision was just like, hey, y'all are talented, y'all do some great work, but we can't fund you, but we're gonna fund you to help make Call of Duty.
Yep.
So I feel like when we get into this, like some of the studios that could be on the chopping block / could be in trouble, I feel like there's like, hey, a lot of you are talented. We might not keep you as a studio, but we'll just redirect you to support studios for Halo, for Elder Scrolls, for Fallout, for whatever other big IP that will make us money and we want to push, and get out the door faster. Because what this article, the article, one of the main things I wanted to point out was, and I don't remember if Bethesda has mentioned, oh, Fallout 5 is a thing. Like, I know that Fallout 3 Remastered is more of a thing than Fallout 5 is, but my God, the Elder Scrolls 6, and this is, I know we don't really live in this era anymore, but man, my God, it was what, 2017, 2018 when they first just talked about the future. It was like, hey, cool, this is what we got down in the pipeline. We've got, Fallout 4, then we've got
Starfield.
Yeah, Starfield, and then after that, Elder Scrolls 6. And I know everyone went nuts, but everyone's like, oh, it'll be 2035, and here it is, 2026, and we have still not seen any development update. No, mum is the word, and it's like, and I think I saw, like, it was during Summer Game Fest, it was like, oh, it's been about 8 years now, and still no update on Elder Scrolls 6, and it's like, yep, it's going to be like the dreams. Now, granted, yes, Bethesda Softworks and Elder Scrolls as an IP is much bigger than Media Molecule and Dreams, but it's going to be like another Dream situation where you've been in development for so flippin' long that if you don't make boo-koodles of money, your butt is grass. You know what I mean? And so it's obviously they won't close Bethesda Softworks proper or ZeniMax. You know what I mean? Like they won't close them. but they will definitely be like, hey, we're going to send some people to help you get your next project out and make sure it's banger, because this Elder Scrolls 6 took way too long, and unless it does like GTA 6 numbers, it ain't gonna look good for you, Chief. So, but this is exactly, it's going to be a good and a bad thing. Like if they help out Bethesda, it will, because everyone's take is like, yes, they make great games eventually, even though they come out buggy messes. But they do make great games, but it takes so flipping long for the next entry. And I know in this industry nowadays, games take longer than ever to develop because of the budgets, because of the technology and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, but that part of that is the human resource aspect. It's like sometimes you just don't have enough people on enough hands to put the recipe out. And if you do this, it could help mitigate a lot of that prolonged lifeline. At the same time, if you're going to cut off studios just to make them support studios, I don't like that either, because we saw, like, again, Raven and Vicarious Visions, really great game developers, really wish they could have stayed doing their own things, but Activision had other plans.
Yeah, Toys for Bob was even in that until they got over
Oh
with
yeah,
Microsoft.
until they said thanks but no thanks, fam. We want to keep doing our own thing.
Yeah. So this is my thought on this. It's like, yes, you need to push out more of your main IP. You also need to create new IPs. It can't
Correct.
just be the same things that have carried you through the Xbox, the Xbox One, the Xbox Series X. Like, there has to be new stuff. Like, look at, like, yeah, we have, been getting a lot of either IPs that have been around or whatever for a while over at PlayStation, but it's either reinvented itself or we've introduced new stuff. Like Last of Us was like the last thing on the PS3, and then now we're getting Intergalactic, the Heretic, whatever, and then
Heretic Prophet, yeah.
Heretic Prophet, and then Housemark comes with, oh, we're going to do Returnal, and it's big, and now they have Soros, and like they could have stayed within like the Returnal universe or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's like you need to have these things, and like, yeah, you could say, oh well, Obsidian's been doing a lot of great stuff, and it's like, yeah, but it hasn't
Yeah.
sold well. You know what I mean?
No.
Like it
They
hasn't.
put
It
out
hasn't.
3 games last year, and did any of them do astronomical numbers? No. They were
No,
solid. 2 of them were solid B tier games. That's not that in this day and age. That's not going to be good enough.
no. And here's my call, Derek. I'm making a call right now. Obsidian Studios or Obsidian will become a Fallout making studio. They'll go back, they'll
Ooh.
make a Fallout 3 remaster or New Vegas remaster, and then they'll go
Yep.
to 2. If they can put
Yep.
out 3 games in a year, then they could be working on these big projects because, why not?
Fair point.
Because,
So
when you think about it, it's like they put out Avowed and Outer Worlds 2 in the same year, 2 massive, RPG games.
and
Well,
then
why aren't,
Grounded 2, like
yeah,
which was like, it's a smaller title, but it still is like people love the first one.
yeah, it's like, well, why aren't you working on a franchise that actually makes money?
Yeah.
I'm saying this from, like the mind of like, if
Yeah.
I was the boss, okay, y'all made one of the best Fallout games ever. All right, let's get a remaster out there, and then let's get a second one.
Yeah. Yeah. And
You know,
and again, you kind of, Avowed was like your Elder Scrolls game, and when Outer Worlds 1 came out, everyone saw the bones of New Vegas in there, right? So it's like, just marry those two together and make a flippin' Fallout game. So it is what it is. Like, again, there's so many different branching paths and different ways that these studios can go and Microsoft can go to steady the ship and make it a great business again, but only time will tell.
yeah, because the storm has to come before there can be, peace in the valley.
Yep.
But before we
you
hit
see
that,
rainbow.
before we hit that, if you haven't already, make sure to smack that like button so we know and YouTube knows that you have enjoyed what you've been watching here. It helps us out a lot. So, Derek, the storm, it's here. It's right
Yeah.
above us. And This week has been a roller coaster of
Oh,
a lot
to
of
say
different
the
stuff.
least.
So Xbox Studios Compulsion, Double Fine, and Ninja Theory facing closure, it's claimed, and this is from Andy Robertson over at the VGC.
So that's according to Bloomberg, which first reported the news and corroborated by VGC's own sources, who indicated that Compulsion Games, Double Fine, and Ninja Theory are among those in active negotiations to spin off from Xbox. The Xbox studios are said to be at risk of being shuttered, but have the opportunity to buy themselves back from Microsoft and go independent, though employees are likely to lose their jobs as a result, according to Bloomberg's Jason Schreier. Quote, employees at several studios have been informed of the situation and given permission to seek new work, but were told that the status of the studios is still in flux. Cambridge, England-based Ninja Theory, which does the Hellblade series, announced a new game, Senua, just last week at the Xbox Game Showcase. Both Compulsion, which did South of Midnight, and Double Fine, which did Kiln, have released games in the last year. All three studios are known for creating award-winning original games, but not necessarily commercial hits. The potential studio closures of sales come as part of expected widespread cuts at Microsoft's gaming division, which were foreshadowed this week by comments from CEO Satya Nadella and Xbox boss Asha Sharma, who warned that the Xbox business needed to be more profitable in the future. Shortly after, Bloomberg reported that Microsoft was planning significant cuts to its gaming division, reportedly planning to take place shortly after the end of its fiscal year on June 30th, which is just less than 2 weeks away.
Yep.
Which is crazy. And dude, when I first saw, the first was, of course, Compulsion. And at first it was reported that, oh, they're closed. And then it was like, no, they're in talks to be closed. And then it was coming out, I was like, oh, Ninja Theory and Double Fine, which a lot of people in the ecosphere was like, oh, what could be, when they heard about all this reset and the restructuring and making the business profitable, people were like, oh, these studios are these are a lot of the top 3 on a lot of people's list for that could get axed. Now, the positive, the corn in the middle of all this is that Microsoft is, instead of just closing them like they did with Tango Gameworks and all them, it's sort of like the Toys for Bob thing. They are giving them a chance to buy themselves out and go independent. Now, of course, as stated in the article, that's not going to come without battle scars, right? Yes, you can buy your freedom essentially, but you will lose people in the midst because, of course, the funding is not going to be the same. Of course, and Double Fine has been independent before, Ninja Theory was also independent. And Compulsion Games were independent. They were all on their own. Yeah, they were getting deals Compulsion. I know, what was that launch game on PlayStation 4? That was kind of exclusive for a time. They have partnerships. And you can look it up. But Double Fine was independent for a long time. But again, when you get that Xbox money or that big, publisher money, yeah, you can hire more people to do more projects to make your games bigger, to make your games better. And then when that goes away, it's all right, we have to downscale. We can't keep all these people that we had when that budget was there. So, of course, it's not going to come without casualties, but I do like the fact that they are giving them a chance to spin off, buy themselves out, essentially. And I know we'll get into it. That's essentially why they showed Senua. It's sort of hey, I know we didn't really, even though it was our fault that we didn't do great advertising for Hellblade 2, they still love what they do with this series. They still have stories to tell in this universe. Please buy them. And it's kind of a weird thing to say. It's the studio that you bought over a decade ago, that you believed in, that you still told them, hey, we're going to greenlight this next game, even though the second one didn't do gangbusters. We're going to do that just to shop you. That it's such a weird thing to say in this day. I'm not going to go in my complete thought process down that rabbit hole, because it's a weird thought process I have on that whole ideal. But I do like the fact that they are giving them a chance to, just before they just say, hey, y'all are going to have to either be shuttered or y'all are going to just be absorbed into support studios to make these bigger IP come out faster and better.
Yeah. Contrast was the name of that Compulsion game that
Thank you.
yeah. Which I played a little bit of. It was all right. It was an okay game.
Yeah.
With this, I'm looking at it and my thought is like, okay, how are they going to get the money for this? You know,
Correct.
because they got bought out and everything, and a lot of the people that might have founded the studio, I know Tim Schafer's still with Double Fine. I love Tim. I think he's awesome dude.
Yeah.
Makes cool games, great ideas, but I don't really know much about Compulsion or Ninja Theories, like founders, if they're still there or anything like that.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, it's like, okay, are they going to have to get some sort of funding to do this? What bank is going to give crazy loans to buy themselves out? I don't know how much they were bought for, but I'm sure it was a couple million each, easy.
Yeah, they didn't disclose that. It wasn't as grand as Bethesda or Activision.
Yeah, so it's when you think about it, it's like, okay, we could buy the name. That's essentially what you're buying, is the name to whatever. But it's like you are going to not be able to keep anybody almost, you know? You've got the name.
Yeah.
I don't know if the rights are coming with that. You know, are they going to do what they're doing with like Toys for Bob, where it's like, okay, you're free, you know, you're on your own, but we will rent you our IPs and you can keep making Spyro games.
Because it's not in the same wheelhouse as IO Interactive. When IO split off from Square Enix said, "Oh, you can have the Hitman IP." That's a rare case. Like most of it, it's sort of like when you, again, crossing streams. It's sort of like when you go to a sports team. Like when a big free agent goes to a sports team, like they trade for him, sign him to a massive deal, whatever their iconic number is. If someone else is wearing that, like depending on the level of athlete, like most athletes, like if it's like a bench warmer, they're just gonna like, hey, give me your number, kid. I'm not giving you jack. But if it's like another prominent star has the same number as this other star, it's like, all right, how much do you want to buy it from me? How bad do you really want this number, type of deal, you know?
Yeah. So I don't know what they're going to do in that regards. I hope that each one of these studios is able to get out, and if they are able to get the IP rights to, you know, South of Midnight, you know, Psychonauts, any of the things that they've made with, you know, in their time and all of that, you know, of course, you kind of already talked about it with like Senua and everything being announced at the Xbox showcase. Is like clearly like that is a move. I think, you know, they're thinking about is like, hey, if you buy them, you know, if they get out or whatever, then you get the IP with it and everything.
Right. Because, it's like we'll sweeten the pot here because, you know, Ninja Theory and Compulsion were part of that. Because Double Fine was its own announcement. I think it was like the following year or two E3s after. But Compulsion and Ninja Theory were part of that initial, like when Microsoft first did the bidding wars, so to speak, during the Xbox One PS4 generation. They were part of that group with like Obsidian, with Playground Games, where it's like, hey, we're acquiring 6 new studios to make great Xbox games, and everyone lost their minds. But Ninja Theory at that point, like, that was off the heels of the first Hellblade game, which was originally a PlayStation 4 exclusive, but before that, their claim to fame was making the DMC Devil May Cry game, which was not in the same universe as, like, it was like that emo, edgy version of Dante. Like, it was great hack and slash action game, but it wasn't. Everyone agreed is like, this is not what Devil May Cry is. Like, if it was just an action game that didn't have the DMC logo, it'd be a great game. But because as DMC, it's not a DMC game. So Ninja Theory was already like, it's like, okay, cool, you have great gameplay bones, but it's like, can you make a compelling story game? And that's when Hellblade came out. But I don't know. I do think it just feels like icky. You know what I mean? Like, this whole thing is like, oh, we're going to announce the next game, but we're using it to shop off our studio. And now, again, like, and you know, you brought up a good point. It's like, cool. Like, yeah, if you get out, what will it cost you? You know, sort of like the Infinity War thing. Like, what did it cost you? Everything. I'm going to throw this to you, Zach. What would you rather see? what would you think would be better for these studios? Because again, while we, like, and I'm just going to say this just as a like an industry fan of like creative developers, if they've kicked Tim Schafer to the curb, we all riot because Tim Schafer is a precious gem to the industry. Like,
Yes.
he must be protected at all times. Like, do not treat this man like any other Joe Blow and kick him to the curb. Like, you may close the studio, but you need to keep him on to do something. You know what I mean? Even if it's like creative support, do it.
He's
But
the American version of Shuhei.
exactly, for sure, 100%. So he, getting back on track here, what would you rather see for these studios? Because again, while we had our qualms about the combat of South of Midnight, the story and the setting were really great in that game. That was definitely the shining gem in that game. Would you rather see these studios be more independent, like break off before they close, or would you rather see them be absorbed and just be support studios? Basically, what I'm saying is, I don't want them to close, but what would you rather have them do? Be support studios and keep open, or spin off and like, they had to lose a lot of people, but they're at least still a studio, but independent.
I think regardless of either direction, they're going to lose people because they've literally told people that it's
True.
they're, start looking for another job. I want them to go and do their own thing. I don't want to see another talented group of people become another support studio. The Coalition like does so much support studio work for all the other Xbox game studios, and it's literally slowed down the production of Gears over the years, where we should have gotten Gears 6, and I think some of that is like,
oh, we're gonna help with Diablo, we're gonna help with Halo, and it's like, why are we doing everything but create games, dog? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Why?
And I know some of that is probably due to Gears 5 not selling great, but that's also Gears 5 didn't sell great because Gears 4 sucked.
Correct. Like, people didn't buy it because the previous one was terrible.
Yeah, and they should have marketed much better. I think that's another thing that Xbox has to get right, is marketing their games like they believe in them, because I haven't felt like they've believed in anything in a very long time.
Well, and like I said, again, the Xbox Showcase, starting with Gears D-Day, having that like 10, 15-minute demo, I think spoke volumes, and like it was a great showing of Gears, like all like the new verticality options, the new cover base, like just the whole, like the cleaner HUD. I think that was a better showcase of a Gears game that we've seen in a very long time. But then to follow that up with Fable, with Plague Tale Legacy, with Halo, like with all these, all these other games. And like they said, I think, to your point, you said they got to show their games better. Well, I think they took that to heart, and I think this showcase was a great example of that. But again, you follow that, all that goodwill, like I talked about last week, was squandered when you do stuff, when it's followed up with stuff like this. Now, again, there's never a good time to announce stuff like this, and I know the reasoning now, I didn't realize their fiscal year ended in June, like the end of June. So that makes sense as to why all of this is coming out, to prepare people so not everyone is, not we the consumers are not blindsided, but it's like, but they just had a great showcase. Like, what? Like, the future looks bright for gaming. Like, why are they just doing all this? Guess what? We're warning you now. It's going to be crap before it becomes better. And again, it's the bitter business we deal with. We all say, we all love to be entertained and all this, but then when business comes in, it sucks. And I get it. They're tired of being in third place. There has to be some type of change, but it's going to be at the behest of creatives. And that's the sad part.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think because we're so like involved with like the stories and like what's happening in the industry and all of this stuff, like we keep track of it, but Joe Schmo that, he's working 8 to 5 and he's got an Xbox.
Just comes home and just wants to play a few rounds of Call of Duty or whatever.
Yeah. Like, they don't, like, half the time I doubt that they know, like, oh, Doom's getting DLC or whatever it is. It's like, you have to better advertise your stuff. You
Yep.
have to advertise your stuff. And it's like, well, you know, you look at Hellblade 1, it sold this many copies. Well, it's like, okay, well, it was an exclusive. It is more of a niche game. But to
Yeah.
not have any kind of really like ad campaign for the second game
Yeah.
really speaks a lot of volumes why it didn't do well.
Right. Especially like, cause you know, the last couple months, you know, you start ramping it up, and then a month, 30 days out, you really push. You really, you know, you really just drive it home that this game's coming out, and you wait essentially the 11th hour in video games, like 2 weeks before the game launches, to even start advertise or like show any kind of advertisement is crazy work. And then you turn around and be like, why didn't this game make money? Talk to your marketing team. Talk to the people who approved this marketing, this lack of marketing to go through. Like, point the finger at someone else. Don't point the finger at Ninja Theory.
Well, and it's like, if you really wanted to do this in an effective and cost-effective way, then you would, like, you don't have to have these crazy high production showcases. I love them. I think it's cool to see all of that, but
it's
like
the E3 nostalgia factor.
Yeah, it's like, you need to get some people that are really like excited about them, like the games, whatever it is. It's like, oh, somebody that really enjoyed whatever it is, enjoyed Starfield. Have them talk about the last update and like really drive that home, and then it's coming to PlayStation 5, and like have something that goes out there. Also, when a game like it, I feel like Nintendo is better about this. They love showing off their games. They'll do a direct regardless. And I feel like PlayStation on their bigger games will.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like Xbox needs to do a better job of like, okay, we're having an Xbox, you know, showcase on Gears, you know, and not the, oh yeah, the footsteps and the echoes and all of this. I don't freaking care. Show me the gameplay. Show me the cool stuff.
Show me 20 minutes of Horde Siege mode.
Yeah, like show me that kind of stuff. And that, it's like, you don't have to go crazy on the production value as long as it looks and sounds good. And most of it, all it has to be is gameplay. That's all it's got to do.
And that's the thing. That's the thing I was about to touch on. Is like, just drive home the point of why people need to buy this game or check it out, play it. You know, like, just give them a reason to give this game a chance. That's all you need to do. You don't need to do some fancy CGI trailers that bait and switch. Like, again, I remember, I forget what game was it. It was like during the PS4, Xbox One era, where it was like, the gameplay footage, the CGI was not indicative of what the gameplay was. Yes, thank you. That's what. Like, it was like that. It's like it looked cool on max PC settings, and then a year later they showed it, and it's like, what is this garbage? This ain't it, Chief.
I remember Killzone, I think it was 2 or 3, that trailer that they showed off for the PlayStation 3, and it was like, everybody was like, oh my God. And then it finally came out, and it was like, none of this is in the game or anything. But I think they just need to show off how cool the game is, have people talk about it, have influencers. They really need to tap into not just the large influencers, but the micro influencers as well, and really just drive home why our games are awesome and why Xbox is the place to play. That's what it needs to be. And have people that are playing on Series X, on Series S, on PC, like, have them doing all the different stuff, you know, and even make xCloud sound cool and look cool. Like, whatever you got to do, you got to sell your services. Always be closing, Derek. Always be closing.
Yep.
Next story. Microsoft insists there's no reverse course on return to exclusive games.
Yeah. And again, I state this, well, let me read the article before I get onto my diatribe. Microsoft has insisted it will not reverse course on its recently announced plan to return to exclusive Xbox games, but fans say they are finding it hard to trust what the company says. The trust issues stem from Microsoft's announcement of Senua, the next game in the Hellblade series, just days before reports emerged that its developer Ninja Theory was in danger of being shut down. Responding to a tweet by Windows Central's Jez Corden, Xbox Chief Strategy Officer Matthew Ball doubled down on the exclusivity, insisting neither game will ever come to PlayStation. Not only that, Ball said Microsoft remains committed to releasing signature Xbox exclusives every year going forward. Gears of War E-Day and Clockwork Revolution will stay exclusive, Ball said. There are no conversations and have been no conversations to, quote, reverse course. And as we said last week, players can continue to expect signature exclusives from us every year, or in this case, or as Asha said, a case-by-case basis. Meh, they change their tune every 6 months. The strategy could change any second, another said. They literally showed Senua 9 days ago and shut them down, and I'm supposed to believe they wouldn't flip-flop already on exclusives, another fan said. The plan's the plan until it's not the plan, commented another fan, referencing Xbox's Asha Sharma's own words on Microsoft's strategy soon after she took the top job. And that's what I was going to say. The plan is a plan until it's not the plan, and I get it. Again, as we stated earlier in the show, they need to give a reason to have people come to the Xbox ecosystem. But again, if you can't find the box or let alone afford the box, what's the point? And again, they picked the two weirdest games to do this with, right? Like a new IP in Clockwork Revolution, which looks great, fantastic. This is In-Exile's first major game that's not like a top-down strategy, turn-based RPG in Wasteland, and all those. We listed off their games, and most of them are like last week, and most of them are turn-based strategy games. And you're going to throw them to the wolves by making them exclusive. Okay, Gears of War E-Day, more of a massive IP. Cool, a known quantity. Cool. The last two did not sell well. One was utter trash. The other one was great, but because the people were burned by 4, not a lot of people checked out 5. And we both loved it. We were excited to see where the story goes. Like, yes, we want to see that continued, but we'll take E-Day, and it looks fantastic just the same, right? But you put that behind exclusivity, and it's like, wouldn't that be better, especially when you put Fable and Halo, 2 other massive IP, on PlayStation? And it's like, wouldn't you want that to join the fray, to make it accessible? Now, again, Clockwork can make a little bit more sense because it's next year. Cool. Like, you've got a year. Maybe you've got another at least 6 to 8 months. Maybe you can figure out the component issue and get more Xboxes on shelves for people to buy. Cool. I can at least see that argument. Gears is 3 months away, essentially. And you're going to lock it behind an exclusivity wall and not really give it a fighting chance. But then when it doesn't sell, you're going to look at it as like, well, you didn't make a great game. You didn't support it, you dummies. You didn't give it a chance to begin with. You gave it a butter knife in a gunfight and said, best of luck, you need to win this. It's like, how, Sway? It is against me. I don't know, man. Like, I get it. And Asha said, it's going to be a case-by-case basis. But I would have much rather, like, yes, it's going to have new missions and it's going to be revamped from the ground up. But I would have much rather them said Halo campaign of like the one that started with Xbox. This is 25th anniversary of Xbox, right? And Halo is iconic with the Xbox brand. Go back to the roots, make that exclusive. That would make much more sense than putting a new Gears after 7 years of not having a Gears game, because we've got several Halo games in that same amount of time span. It would have made much more sense to put Halo. Heck, even Fable, because that trailer was a banger of a trailer. Like, since you gave it that kind of push, that should have been like the quote-unquote 24-hour decision to, hey, it was multi-platform, we're going to pull that curtain back because people are really hyped for this game. Let's make that exclusive and give you those 2 games would have been much better options than a new IP from a smaller studio that is trying to get its name out there, i.e. like a Housemarque, and make big and show them, hey, we have creative minds. We can make bigger and better games than what we have been. And then another franchise that has had its struggles, hasn't had a game in almost a decade, and is coming back with a resurgence. Well, Zach, I give you the floor.
Halo's also had its issues.
It has, but at least Infinite kind of like I know the multiplayer had issues, but at least story wise, Infinite kind of upswung it just a tad bit. You know what I mean?
Now, I loved Infinite. I played the ever living
Oh,
snot out of it.
I know.
But okay, so my thing on this is you look at the just track record, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it just feels like every time something is said, and I know a lot of this is they were being transparent, okay? And I know
Yeah,
Asha even said, you know, we got to be, you know, brutally transparent and
forthcoming.
all of that. Yeah. I feel like was pretty transparent, but he'd say something
Yeah,
and then a few weeks later he would have to eat crow and go back on what he said.
yep,
And it's like, okay, what is going to happen when, you know, next year this time things haven't sold well because we
yeah,
went exclusive on these things? What's going to happen? Oh, well, maybe, you know, we should, you know, not do exclusives.
yeah.
Okay. You know, it's like, how long do you hold out on this? And I know PlayStation, it's kind of the same conversation over there. It's like, are we going to keep pushing, you know, that we're just going to do exclusives or whatever? I think that they have to be very stringent on this.
Yeah.
Like, I agree. I feel like Halo should be exclusive, but I don't know if like pre-orders or anything like that had gone live on PlayStation before this. You know, I don't know
That's a good point. So well,
because
and
I
yeah,
remember like when they announced it, PlayStation was on like the trailer or whatever. Like it's
yeah.
coming
Like
to
how many
PlayStation
had
5.
wish listed already? Because it's a weird thing now. Like when because you wish list it before you pre-order it, and then when pre-orders actually go live, you can do that. So I know, but I know once that's locked in, you can't really do anything. But I do remember like, and this is a different example, right? Of a bygone era, but during the Xbox One era, when they were like 2014, when they showed like remember Scalebound and all these other
Mm,
games, and then it was like no, even games that didn't have a release year, you could pre-order on the Xbox store, and that made it very convoluted. And then when they canceled it, people were upset about it. It's like, well, blah blah blah, I already did this and that, but I think they did it to avoid that. So they did the wish list thing. So it's like, okay, you're not spending money until we actually have a release date set and it's getting close and we open up pre-orders. So if you wish list it, you're not losing anything or don't have to have this whole song and dance of how to get a refund back.
yeah.
So I'm not sure how long ago they opened up pre-orders for Halo. I'm sure because it didn't have a release date, but you do have a good point, especially this close to launch because it's late July, like
Yeah.
or
It's
so
yeah.
it's right around the corner. So I don't think it would be. I think it'd be too close to the sun to try and like pull it. And whereas Gears, I know is like 3 months. It's like all right, we have a little bit more of a buffer to make this chance to like pull it if we wanted. You know, if it supposedly it was coming to PlayStation already, but then they pulled the plug 24 hours beforehand. But
Yeah.
oh, but we didn't do that anyway. That's beside the point.
Well,
But I don't know.
I would love to see the numbers, which I don't know if they're out there. I haven't looked them up. How much
Yeah,
Reloaded sold on the PlayStation 5. And maybe that was another indicator for them that it's like, hey, they didn't really sell that well, but let's look at our
true.
wish list for Halo. There's way more interest in this because Halo's been the thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like the first
Yeah,
Halo, when it came out compared to when Gears came out, I feel like more people would have had an Xbox 360 at that point, you know. And then yeah, you had like whatever, and like they came out with one again later, like in the Xbox One era and everything.
oh
So
yeah, the Ultimate Edition.
yeah, Ultimate Edition. There you go. Thank you. So it's like you've had a few at bats with this, and yeah, you could say Master Chief Collection and all of that. I feel like that did sell well, but this is the
Mhm.
first time the franchise of Xbox is coming, and it's like I'm sure the wish list data was big enough to be like, if we pull this, we are shooting ourselves in the foot. Like it's
True.
undeniable. So okay, let's start exclusivity with Gears of War E-Day. Let's go back. Let's push this. I think that's more of the thing. And, you know, like you said, it is way closer to Halo Campaign Evolved than, you know, Gears and everything. My question, I know I asked this before, Derek, but I want to ask you now that we are closer to Halo Campaign Evolved. Are you playing on Xbox? Or you playing on PlayStation 5?
Oh, so again, the heart goes with Xbox, but everything I'm seeing, and especially because there was a rumor going around that, like, of course, again, just like with the decision with Gears, Microsoft denied it, wants to vehemently denied it was ever a thing, but supposedly they had a trailer for the state of play for Halo Campaign Evolved running on a PS5 Pro. So what I'm kind of taking that as they want to see, oh, they're really pushing, oh, this is the first time, the first ever exclusive for Xbox is coming to the competitor PlayStation. First ever time a massive IP like Halo is coming to a PlayStation console from Xbox. So we want to tout it and make it a big thing. But also it's like, it seems like they believe in the PS5 version a little bit more than the Xbox version. So I might just go on a limb and buy both, and compare and contrast. You know what I mean? Like, because I'll get Campaign Evolved on Xbox on Game Pass, so I won't spend any money there. So I only buy the game once. So I might just say screw it and buy both versions. But I'm kind of really, because I'm really interested in seeing, because the way it's talking, it's like it's gonna look really good on PlayStation, and it's like this would be like. I know they redid Gears of War 1 again, but that was just basically a copy and paste with like some extra content. But this is like built from the ground up, like a remake Halo, essentially.
Yeah. I know Blue Thunder, I don't know if you follow him on TikTok. He does a lot of gaming content and everything. He was showing off Halo Campaign Evolved. Dude, it looks sick. Where you literally on the beach of the Halo, and you can see the grains of sand.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The lighting, Zach. The lighting.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. Now, to say all of this, Jason Schreier put out a video this week on what got Xbox to this point, why they are making these hard decisions. I started watching it on the other day, but I'm going to share it with everybody. That way you can check it out, because I thought it was a really great video. And if you don't know who Jason Schreier is, the Schrei guy, if you will, he is the one that literally breaks majority of the big news.
When you think of the gaming news industry, you think of Jason Schreier. He is the reporter for especially like the dirty deeds for any big news that goes on, like any kind of controversy, any kind of, in-house disruption, like why all of a sudden the studio closed or this game canceled, like with Concord or whatever. Like, he is the one that is on the scene. He's like, I don't know if you remember this guy, Jim Cantori for the Weather Channel. Any kind of big disastrous storm, he is there at ground level, there to report the ongoings of what's going on. Jason Schreier is the Jim Cantori of the gaming news industry.
Yeah, so go check that out. It's really, really good. It's like, I don't even remember how long it is. Let me go back there and see real quick. It's like 30 minutes long, 29 minutes and 6 seconds. But he breaks down literally from Xbox One all the way through how did we get to where we are. And it was very, very interesting to just see it in a very compact way. I know 30 minutes sounds like a lot, but really, really good stuff and highly suggested.
Got an hour lunch break. You can spare 30 minutes of your time.
Yeah. And if you really want an Xbox Series X, go on Facebook Marketplace. Do not. And I know some people are probably screaming, don't go buy a new one. Do not pay the tax of you're getting late in the game, so you're paying almost $1,000. I'm literally looking at several. I'm talking about majority of the ones that are on Facebook Marketplace right in front of me. $300, $360, $299, $350, $300. One that has a 1 terabyte hard drive, $350.
That's crazy.
$250, $350.
Wait, what the price should be in most retail stores by now? That's crazy.
Yeah. So I highly suggest it. I've bought my Steam Deck that way. Like, always make sure that it works. Okay. Like, you need to be shown that it works and everything, but don't go pay $1,000 for one of these things.
Especially don't get it shipped overseas because, like, I remember that joke. It's like, I got a PS4 and it's just 2 PS2s taped together. You know what I mean? Like, don't be that person who falls for it.
Yeah, PlayStation 3 and a PlayStation 2 taped together. Here's your PS5. But yeah, that's your way to save several $100s of money. I don't know if you saw this or not. I don't know if it's in the
quick hits.
Yes, it is in the quick hits. So I won't spoil anything on the Patreon quick hits. But speaking of the Patreon quick hits, they're brought to you by our wonderful patrons. You can go over to patreon.com/nerdcave to get your very own Nerd Cave member, become part of the ship, part of the crew, help this 1.5 person business keep the lights and the mics on by getting your Nerd Cave membership at patreon.com/nerdcave. Now it's time for the Patreon quick hits.
First up, some Resident Evil news. Resident Evil Requiem Story DLC is reportedly launching after Resident Evil Veronica drops. Resident Evil Veronica is being headed by the duo behind the remakes of Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 4, two of the top remakes. So that's very, very foretelling that it's going to be a good remake. Following that, Veronica already has more than 1 million wish lists on, across all the different platforms, it looks like. Veronica producer says the remake story will be changed to fit the series' timeline, so that will include Biohazard, Village, Requiem, all that kind of stuff. And finally, Resident Evil Zero Remake reportedly rebooted mid-dev and is now being headed by Capcom Division 1. Halo Campaign Evolved will let you play the game in third-person view. Valor Mortis release date has been pushed to October 13th. Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis is canon to the Survivor trilogy, with Lara now in her prime. Following that, Legacy of Atlantis will utilize separate difficulty options similar to Shadow of the Tomb Raider. The Last of Us HBO series Season 3 casts Peter Sarsgaard as an original character not seen in the games. Telltale is actively looking at what we'll do next, says that there are 3 or 4 frontrunners in terms of what we'd like to do. Xbox doubles down on Gears of War E-Day exclusivity, saying it was never discussed for PS5, despite evidence pointing to otherwise. Niantic Spatial insists Pokemon Go data has not been used to train military drones. That's a wild take. Dead by Daylight is the most played horror game in history, says its developer. Following that, Art the Clown will be the latest killer in Dead by Daylight. Paramount says Star Trek Shadow Frontier is a psychological thriller sort of akin to Hellblade. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 campaign early access goes live a full week before the official release date. Ex-Destiny community manager says the only way to keep Bungie alive is to support Marathon. However, Marathon fails to turn things around despite launch of Season 2 and recent free week. IP expert says Nintendo may only win a $30,000 payout in Pokemon legal battle with Palworld developer Pocket Pair. A major insider says Fallout New Vegas remake rumors have merit. God of War Lao Fei release window reportedly targeting the first half of 2027, which would justify why we got a 20-minute gameplay demo during the state of play. So the fact that it could come out in the first 6 months of next year has me excited. Control Resonant is coming out in a busy month, but Remedy says we have to trust the quality of our game. Final Fantasy VII Revelation players can hit level 99, and weapons have their own dedicated narrative component. Dragon's Dogma 2 microtransactions, a word we have not talked about in a very long time, are being removed ahead of Dark Arisen release, while the base game will receive a discount. Rumor, new Ghost Recon game is struggling in development following changes made by Ubisoft management. EA launches advertising platform that promises non-disruptive brand integration into its games. Treyarch head Mark Gordon steps down from Call of Duty studio after 22 years. Viral hide and seek paint game Mecha Chameleon reaches 2 million copies sold and promises new map. Crunchyroll Anime Island drops Dr. Stone to Fortnite, or brings Dr. Stone to Fortnite with science themed challenges and activities. Head of Xbox Game Studios Craig Duncan steps down amid growing concern over layoffs and possible studio shutdowns. The Blood of Dawnwalker dev is planning a roadmap that includes smaller, free add ons. Clive Barker's Hellraiser Revival has a new trailer and an October 8th release date. Weeks after launching Luna Abyss, Quayle Labs' entire dev team has been laid off. Housemarque wants to have the same growth as From Software. Following that, Housemarque indicates its next game could be a smaller project. SanDisk's lineup of officially licensed PS5 SSDs have been priced and expect to pay nearly $3,000 for an 8 terabyte model. Woof. Sony patents controller that has buttons that become harder or softer in reaction to gameplay. So sort of like the haptic triggers that you see in some of these like modded controllers. Bungie reportedly set to lose around 400 staff members as a result of summer layoffs. Sean Layden says Xbox's recent moves show a basic misunderstanding of how the industry works. Rockstar announces a free PS5 and Series X and S upgrade for GTA 5. Following that, GTA Online is adding a massive new heist next month. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is adding the suit from Spider-Man Brand New Day for free. Call of Duty Black Ops 1 and 2 are officially being ported to new platforms next month. And just dropped today, GTA 6 reveals its cover for the game, and pre-orders will open June 25th. That is 1 week from tonight. So we can so it looks like November release date will be officially upon us. It's locking in. Pre-orders go live next week.
$3,000 for a hard drive, Derek.
Brother, how is it more expensive than a console? This is all I gotta say.
Yeah,
I know 8 terabytes is a lot, but my God.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. When a aftermarket part, and again, don't buy it. You don't need it. Delete the games that you have on it.
Thank you.
Like, you don't need 8 terabytes. I'm sorry.
And you don't. I mean, unless you're like the only reason I mean, I know it's a PS5 lineup, but let's just say it was just like a gaming lineup. You know what I mean? Like it was used for PC. I could see 8 terabytes for PC. That's still a lot, but I get, you know what I mean? And it's like, again, why are you using 8 terabytes worth of data for games?
Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm just saying. Like, even if you're like a big like multiplayer game, like how many multiplayer games will you play at one time that you need 8 terabytes worth of downloads?
Well, and like I think of like Warzone, it's like 150 gigs. It's a very large game, but you're not installing Warzone 5, 6, 7 times. You're installing it once, and especially with the PlayStation, since this is a PlayStation SSD. It will literally like take the parts of the files that need to be rewritten out and write those parts. Like, it's not like how it was on PlayStation 4 where it just kept stacking on top of each other. Like it's smart enough to know, oh, this part of the file, okay, get rid of that, put this new part in. Like, that's how it works now, at least with the PlayStation 5. And yeah, that's just insane. Derek?
And to the people that are like, well, I want to have as many games options as I can to download, so that way I can just click and not have to wait for the download time. Cool, I get that. But as a millennial that is basically like gets like option paralysis, it's like when you have too many options, you get paralyzed, and it's like you just said it. Like, there are so many times like, oh man, I want to play this, this, and this, or I want to download this, this, and this, and then it's like I get so overwhelmed, I'm just like, I ain't doing it. I'm not going to play anything, not going to download anything. So it's like, cool, you want to have all those options? When you open it, and even like people who don't get option paralysis, it's like people are just like, man, I want to play something, and then they scroll through all the games that they have already installed, and it's like, and then they just make that decision, actually, I'm not really feeling it. You know what I mean? So it's like, cool, option is great. At the same time, too many people, especially our generation, is just like, I'm good. Like I can't make my mind up. I'm just gonna watch something instead.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can only play one game at a time.
Thank you.
You can only play one game at a time.
It's not like, like you see those like anime joke videos. It's like, catching up on all the recommended anime my friend gave me. And you have like 8 laptops, 3 TVs, and you're all trying to watch it at the same time. Can't do that with video games. No matter how many screens you have, only one controller works.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you only have 2 hands.
Only got 2 hands, so you can only play one game at a time. Don't support that kind of junk. Like if you got that kind of crazy money, go give it to charity.
Donate it. Yeah, donate to charity. Give it to the less fortunate. Like, help a brother out. Like, just saying.
Go to patreon.com/nerdcave, and you can drop that $3K there. You could go to your local library, support them, food kitchens, whatever. Do not go and buy this 3,008 terabyte SSD. No, don't do that. Be smart. Be smart with your money, y'all. Well, there you have it. That is our episode. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Us foo-fooing on Xbox and everything. My thought, Derek, as we wrap this up is I hope that when it all is said and done, it's not going to be pleasant. It's going to be like having an ingrown toenail. You got to go to the doctor.
Kicking and screaming.
Yeah, you got to go to the doctor, and they're going to deaden that toe, man. They're going to get a needle, and it's going to freaking hurt, dog. It's going to hurt. And they're going to cut into that thing. They're going to be pulling that thing out, all right? And then you're walking around. You're hobbling around. You're putting your foot in vinegar and all of that to help it heal and all of this kind of stuff. And then eventually...
What, do I have gout?
Eventually... you're fine, okay? Eventually you're fine, and then you're able to do whatever you want. That's what's happening with Xbox right now. So hopefully it will get better. But
again, the theme of the night is the theme for this is it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, you live long enough to become the villain.
Yep, that's exactly that thought for that line was why I put the title. It's like Xbox has to become the villain before they become the hero.
Well, there you have it, everybody. This has been Zach
and Derek.
Y'all have a blessed week. Bye-bye.